BTL, coming at you. Good Wednesday, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Bradley, a little late, but that's okay, man. Things happen.
Yeah, I had a couple of kids. I got one in particular that is not feeling well, and so I had to get some things arranged for childcare today.
Hey, man, it's all good. I've been down that path. I'm so glad I'm past that path. One day you will not have to worry about that. You start to worry about other things. All right, need to get a couple of things straightened out at the beginning of the show here. I want to let everybody know Randy Blaukat, we tried to get Randy Blaukat on the show today, and he is unable to be on the show, but has committed to coming on the show Monday. Now, you and Matthew are going to be on the Cumberland River, so that's going to be a show that I'm going to be doing solo. So myself and Randy Blaukat on the show on Monday. The other touring professional that I was trying to get on the show was David Dudley, and David very respectfully said he's not ready to talk about the whole situation. And I understand it. He's just like, hey, I'm mulling it all over. I know some people out there have made some indications or thoughts on what he might be thinking based upon this 7-minute video that he put out on social media. Hence, that's why I thought it would be a good idea to get him on the show and talk about the whole situation. The other thing was, and I told him, I said, dude, I want to talk about what you're doing during the off season too. Obviously, everybody knows he's a big hunter and likes to do other things. So he told me that when he's ready to come on the show and talk about it, he will. So I'm sure he's not flying solo in that. Obviously, you have some, let's call it mulling.
Yeah.
Mulling over the whole thing. So I understand, but Mr. Dudley very respectfully said, not yet.
Yeah. It's not. Guys think that, I guess they look at it and I'm sure the MLF bought it. And if the guys, this is a long story. There's lots involved here, but this is not easy. Like it is stressful.
Yeah.
I've never had shingles once in my life, and I have them right now on my back. And
Really?
Yeah. When I went to the doctor, he's like, hey dude, that's stress related. Like not feeling well. Like it is difficult. Change is hard on everyone. And that's what this is. And, everyone's kind of, some guys are really on, some guys are really off. Well, most of us are right in the middle, and it's harder than it appears on the surface.
Yeah. So what I thought we'd do today, Bradley, is we've had so much discussion about the business side of the business of professional bass fishing here recently. This is my favorite time of the year. There is a week during the spring that is just amazing, and obviously for me that is when the spawn is occurring here in Oklahoma. But when you put a season together, my favorite season to bass fish is the fall.
Right.
And what I'd like to do is I'd like to pick your brain and talk a little bit about fall fishing here in the Midwest, and there's a lot of comparisons with what we have here in Oklahoma that a lot of people across the U.S. can actually apply to certain bodies of water from a fall fishing perspective. So we'll get into that here in a minute. The other thing that I want to do, I want to thank everybody for all the feedback. I have been bombarded with emails and messages through the Bass Zone website. I'm seriously trying to get to every single one of them. But some very, very insightful and well thought out feedback from a number of fans across the U.S. I mean, from California to New York. And I can't thank you enough. Please have a little patience with me to get back to your responses. But some very, very intelligent people out there, Bradley.
Absolutely.
I mean, well thought out, and can't thank those people enough. So here's what I'm going to do. I mentioned on the show either last week or the week before last that we wanted to get to 600 reviews on iTunes. Well, we surpassed that number. All right, I think it's like 605 or whatever. Now my goal is I want to get to 1,000.
All right.
All right, and I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it to where we give back to the fans that are downloading this show on iTunes. Not to take away anything from anybody that's watching it live on either YouTube or on the Bass Zone website. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to take care of 5 different groups with this giveaway that I'm going to do. All right. I'm going to have 5 $100 gift cards to Academy. And if for some reason you don't have, and Academy's not a sponsor, dude. I'm just going to go down to Academy and get $500 gift cards to where you guys can buy some tackle for some fall fishing if we get there in a hurry. All right. If we get to the 1,000 reviews on iTunes. So here's what I'm going to do. For the people that are watching on the website or on YouTube, I'm going to randomly select, because if you're watching on the website, you're on the instant feedback, correct?
Correct.
So I'm going to randomly select, all right, somebody from the instant feedback over the next 2-3 weeks, and I'm gonna give away a $100 gift certificate to Academy from that group. The other 4 groups, every time we get to a benchmark, either 700, 800, 900, and 1,000. That's 4 groups. I'm going to randomly select whoever has posted a review on iTunes in that group, and then I will reach out to them on the show, and then they send me their contact information, and I'm going to mail them a $100 Academy gift card.
Can't beat that.
All right, so all you got to do is tell like it is. Look, we're looking for honesty on those reviews. If you think that I suck and my opinions suck, fine. Go ahead and put that on there. That's what we want to know. If you think I bring up some very good opinions and what Matt and I do on this show is good, then say that. Just be honest. That's how we roll, Bradley.
I would like to read some of your reviews that they say you suck.
There's been a few.
I'm sure there are.
There's been a few, and you can't keep everybody happy. No. And when you're in this business and you're doing a public platform,
that's right,
not everybody's going to agree with you.
No.
Bottom line. So you got to have callous skin sometimes, and you can't let it affect other stuff that you have going on. And I respect everybody else's. Your opinion matters. Heck, that's why we do the call-in shows. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to do a Sunline Hotline show next week with both of you guys being at the Cumberland River. So Randy Blaukat, a Sunline Hotline show, and then I'll work on getting one more show in the books for next week. So just in summary, to make sure everybody understands, if you're listening to this on the website live right now, I'm going to randomly select somebody from the instant feedback over the next couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks. If you're listening via download on iTunes, you need to go in, do a review, and from 600 to 700, I'm going to give away a $100 gift certificate. From 700 to 800, I'm going to give away a $100 gift certificate. From 800 to 900, I'm going to give away a $100 gift certificate. And from 900 to 1,000, Merry Christmas. Hopefully we will get there by Christmas, Bradley.
I think you'll get there. I mean, that's a lot of reviews.
It's pretty cool, though.
Yeah,
I mean, there's nobody else in the industry that's even close to us right now. So if we could get to 1,000, I want to give back to the people that are making this happen and making the presence in the professional bass fishing media entity. You know, hey, I want to give back. So that's what I'm doing. I know it's not 1,000. I know it's not 5,000, but come on, folks. I'm trying here.
Yeah.
So $100 gift certificates and go from there. All right. Next up, look what I found, Bradley. I know we're going to get into some fall tactics, but look at this.
I thought you were going to pull a flaming sword over there.
No. This is a VHS tape that I found, and I don't think I have mentioned this on the show. I just ran across it last night when I was doing some late night work. And this VHS tape still in the wrapper, never been watched. I can't even remember where it came from.
Let me see that, Jewel.
All right, I'm gonna read a couple things off there. Still in the wrapper, and it's called Classic Advice. 16 of America's top bass pros share their favorite techniques to successful fishing. All right, and here are the pros: Harold Allen, Tommy Biffle, Cliff Kraft, Woo Daves, Paul Elias, O.T. Fears, and what is O.T. Fears famous for? Can you remember? What did he win? He won the All-American.
Okay.
All right. And some other things.
Yeah.
Randy Fight, Charlie Ingram.
I was going to say he's famous for being cranky all the time.
Yeah, he is pretty cranky. Gary Klein, Tommy Martin, Charlie Reed, who's famous for
top water of some kind.
He's from Oklahoma.
Charlie's from southeastern Oklahoma.
Yeah, Broken
Bow.
Yeah. Didn't he win a Classic?
He did win a Classic.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, David Wharton and Orlando Wilson.
What's Orlando Wilson famous for?
Wearing the Atlanta Braves hat.
You got it.
Dude, I grew up on Orlando Wilson. Anyway, I wish I could play this. Do you still have a VHS player?
I would imagine my wife probably
somewhere.
She didn't throw anything away.
Now I know there's services out there that you can take tapes and go, here, can you transfer this to a DVD or digital or whatever? Has anybody out there that is watching live right now ever heard of this VHS tape?
Classic Advice.
It's called Classic Advice because I may spend what can you get a VHS player for now? Can you still buy them?
I'm sure you can.
For what, $20, $30?
I don't know. That's definitely a video that I've never seen.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, we've all, like the older guys, we've all gone through everything there is, but I've never seen that one. Now,
check out the pictures. What is one characteristics about the pictures of the pros?
Well, the first thing that sticks out are those tall 10-foot fronted hats.
The high hat, man.
The high hat, for sure.
They were styling and profiling.
Elias's beard would like rock right now. That he wore back then would be. I mean, it's right there with some famous basketball players. That lots of beards. Tommy looks like he's 19 years old, and Tommy Biffle's actually smiling.
That's the other thing that I caught from that. A rarity in the professional fishing game.
Gary Klein. I'm really just going by faces here. I see Orlando and Jimmy. Jimmy looks the same. Jimmy has aged well. Jimmy and his hair have aged the best of anyone. Yeah, there's a lot of old guys in here that this is. What year was this, Mark?
I couldn't find a date on it. Maybe because they're a super small print. And it looks like that it was put together by Zebco.
Ricky Green. I mean, there's names in here that I haven't heard forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I fished against Ricky Green's son, I believe, at the All-American one year. I believe that family still got it going on over there in Arkansas. Is that where they were from?
Yeah. Our fans are telling us that O.T. Fears also won Megabucks.
Megabucks. See, I knew there was something a lot bigger.
Yeah, for those people that
I remember something on a river, on the Mississippi River, he did real well in, which that may have been Megabucks. He was running back to one magic willow tree.
Yeah.
I bet that was a Megabucks. No, Megabucks is whenever they split up the
No, that's where they had the holes.
Yeah, they had the course.
Yeah, and I believe, I don't remember what year it was, they actually had Megabucks on a very small lake in Dallas. And they had bleachers. I've talked about this before. Do you remember seeing that show? Long time ago.
No, yeah.
They had
the bleachers on the course.
Yeah, set up around the lake, which was very, very, very cool. So yeah, anybody out there, if you can get them at Target or Walmart or whatever, somebody clue me in on where you can get a VHS player, because I am dying to watch that. I didn't do an Amazon search or a Google search to see if it was even available anymore. And it might have been just one of those promotional things, because it's a Zebco Quantum motor guy.
How many spinnerbaits you think are going to be shown in that video?
Quite a few. Quite a few, man.
That'd be my guess.
Would you rock the hi-hat now? Any interest in being a little different and rocking the hi-hat?
No, or the vest or any of that old school stuff. No, I'm not interested.
I know Tim Horton did that. So, Maynard, longtime listener, says, I have the same tape, and I have many more of those instructional tapes. Used to show parts of them in my bass fishing Indiana class, and I caught when he taught at IPFW. Huh. All right. Well, maybe
I do. I think I still have a lot of those instructional tapes too, but I don't have that one.
Yeah.
But I've got some really old stuff. Maybe that'd be cool if we just brought out of our closet all our antique instructional videos, books that we have.
That's cool stuff. All right, let's do this. Let's take a break, and we will come back and talk a lot about fall fishing. As I mentioned, my favorite time of the year. And hopefully you can clue me in on some stuff there, Bradley. Do you like fishing in the fall? Hopefully you do.
Well, I do. So here's my deal with it. And there's a lot of pro fishermen in the same boat as I that we're not diehard deer hunters. And there's a few guys that have big strengths in the fall, just like the spring guys, but they don't get to showcase that talent because there are no tour level events in the fall, a.k.a. James Watson.
Oh, yeah. All right, taking a break. Come back. Talking fall fishing with Bradley Hallman. Everybody stay tuned.
You are serious about catching fish. That HDS is a dead giveaway. You've got the best fish finding sonar money can buy. Time to build the ultimate fish finding system with live sight sonar. See what your lure is doing in real time. Watch fish strike as it happens. See for yourself. Take the Live Sight Sonar 30-day challenge. If Live Sight Sonar doesn't help you find and catch more fish, send it back, no questions asked.
Gamagot's the G Finesse series.
In my opinion, the G Finesse series is the only lineup of hooks you need for any fishing you do.
But I know a lot of guys haven't used this hook yet. G Finesse series has the nano coat on the hooks. And the nano coating makes the hooks sharper, smoother for a better hookup ratio. 20% stronger than black nickel. Wow, that is incredible. That's a lot of strength.
My Gamakatsu G Finesse series, perfect finesse fishing for you.
Check out the G Finesse series of hooks by Gamakatsu.
Guys, Gerald Swindle, Sunline Pro Staff. If you're a flipper, a slackline hook setter, you're really putting a lot of impact into your hook set, look for the shooter. It comes off the smooth, really smooth. Like when you're flipping, it is smooth. If you're gonna be drop shotting and cranking, sniper's the deal, man. It seems like it's a little bit less likely, like on a sharp hook set, it doesn't seem like it likes it as much. But for coming off the spool on spinning rod, leaders, cranking, like if I'm gonna throw a big plug at Guntersville, I've still got strong tensile strength. It's not gonna give out on me, but yet the line's thin enough it'll get down. So to me, shooter takes a hook set, snipers for everything else. So if you're gonna slack line them, go shooter.
The name SPRO says it all. SPRO stands for Sports Professionals. When you look at the pro staff that SPRO has brought on board over the past 15 years, it's been pretty incredible. I mean, one got it just then. From the development of the rock crawler to the McStick, from the Fat Papa to the Little John series, when you tie a SPRO bait on, you know it's been designed by a professional to get the job done.
Blue Water by TH Marine. Offering LED lighting solutions for your boat, trailer, truck, ATV, and so much more. Engineered and built to be rugged with waterproof and submersible options. Designed for easy installation, Blue Water is available in a variety of colors and styles. All backed by a limited lifetime warranty. Blue Water by TH Marine.
At Duckett Fishing, we have assembled the top pros in the country to help us design rods to give you a competitive advantage. Castability, strength, durability, action, sensitivity, weight and balance, and consistency. Combine that with the best warranty in the industry, and you have rods that are pro-driven.
Duckett Fishing, pro-driven. Hey guys, Cliff Perch here with AFCO. I've got the new camo hooded reaper. It's going to be a great thing both for fishing and hunting this fall. I can tell you a couple of the features about it. Got the face mask like all the reapers do, vented in front. It's got the fleece on the inside, so it's really comfortable. It's super warm. When you come down to the pocket, it's got this little snap system called Block Tapey, and it's silent. You know, it doesn't make that sound that other snaps and other systems that hook it together make. Great for hunting, and it's going to keep that stuff in your pocket.
I got my power pole down, stuck in the mud in the bottom of the lake, sitting so still in the wind and the waves, could even be a hurricane. I got my power pole down.
All right, we are back on a Wednesday, closing out the week here on BTL. And I did not hear from Matthew last night, so I don't know how his girlfriend did.
I didn't hear from him either. I talked to him about an hour before she ran, and I haven't heard from him since.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people out there, man.
I was actually thinking about that this morning when I woke up. I wonder how she did.
I don't know. So I guess we'll find out hopefully today. All right, man. A lot of comments on the instant feedback, Bradley. They want to talk fall fishing with you, and we're going to get to that real quick. I do want to mention Matt in Southwest Missouri said that the podcast needs to be available on Google Play for those people that don't have an iPhone, and it is. You can get it on Google Play. The only thing is on iTunes, they have the reviews. I'm not sure if they have that on Google Play, but the focus obviously right now is on iTunes and the iTunes reviews. So get an iPhone. No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's go to the questions, man. People want to jump right in there. Dave, first off, wants to know what size and action of a rod do you use when making short, accurate casts around laydowns or brush?
I'm different than most. Some guys like longer rods, but we do a lot of bush and willow fishing in this part of the country, and it used to be a 7-footer. It's gone from a 7 to a 7.2, and then from a 7.2 to a 7.3. So I would say a 7.3 right now is still my favorite rod, or even in close contact. I do have a 610 rod from Falcon that I use, which is the Finesse Jig Special. The head turner is also very close in the same action that I use on LBJ, which is a little brown jig that we use around docks and cover and structure and stuff. And this either the 610 or the 7.3. The 7.3 I use in an Amistad, but those are probably my two main weapons.
Is the obvious reason leverage?
Yeah, I think it becomes more of a comfort deal, but yeah, no doubt. I mean, I want the longer rod for as much leverage as I can possibly get. But I will say that like the 610 rod is more accurate when you're trying to be very precise with skipping presentations and things from a distance.
What about action?
The 610 probably is probably better. That's probably why I've had more success with it with the LBJ, is just for the simple fact of, when you're twitching whether it's a 7.3 or a 610, you're still doing the same action with your wrist. But with a 610, you're actually moving that bait smaller hops than you would be with a 7.3 and not even realizing it, But if you put them both in the pool and you pull them both together at the same twitch, that 7.3 is gonna yank that thing further.
Leverage. All right. The other thing is, for those people out there, the LBJ, the infamous little brown jig.
Yeah, the little brown jig.
All right. We refer to that as LBJ all the time here in this area. All right. Larry from Texas wants to know, he would like to know what distance from the bank that you start fishing in the fall.
especially when we get this late in the fall, I'm going as far as I can go. Like, I'll have my trolling motor up, put a pair of channel locks underneath it. I mean, everything I can do to get it shallow, and then I still want as far as cast as I can throw to the dirt, even past that, in really flat areas, things that are extremely, extremely flat, like where we just came from in Lake Mead. That's definitely a good way to attack that place and get quality bites. With that, it's always usually a top water presentation, because you're not fishing water that's
right.
It's like that,
right.
I would say that with the combination of just covering water and speed, because a lot of times in the fall it comes down to, there are fish that are aggressively feeding on the bank, but they are generally scattered. And a lot of times there's no rhyme or reason other than some type of flat, whether it be points or the back of the pockets, or every lake's laid out different on where the flats are.
Yeah.
Kentucky Lake, they can be out on the main lake, and then that's where they are on those bars, and it's flat. So Tennessee River is different, and every reservoir can be different where they are. But generally what I'm looking for is flats with bait on them.
Forage.
Grass is even a better, if there's grass on those flats, then you've got all the greatest combinations together.
All right, there you have it. Austin in Alabama wants to know, he is heading to Neely Henry for the first time in months. Cold front just hit, high bluebird skies, north wind, north clouds. Any advice?
Top water. Top water, square bill, and jig, and a spinnerbait. Usually in the fall, I'm throwing smaller spinner baits too. I don't know why that is, but I've had some really nice success with some smaller bladed Indiana stuff, Indiana blades, things that are smaller profile than what I'm throwing in the spring.
All right. Can you get into your reasoning or your thoughts on cold fronts in the fall? Mm-hmm. Does it have a massive effect on the fish compared to the cold fronts that come in during the spring?
I don't feel like they had the same effect on them now. There was a tournament they had at Grand Lake. This has been many years ago. I didn't fish this event, but it actually snowed in the event. It was in the fall. It was in like November, 1st of November.
Well, we talk about Jim Morton all the time.
Yeah,
remember
he won the event, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, buzzbait.
Yeah, in the snow.
Yeah, around that sailboat bridge area, which is all the flats.
Yeah,
and it's literally snowing, and those guys that were in the top 5 wrecked them on that snow day. With buzzbaits.
Yeah.
So that tells you that the water temperature and the fish's activity still rolling from the heat of the summer. It's still going, and they're feeding very heavily.
All right, Dwayne in Oklahoma wants to know, how long do you give a whopper plopper before you put it away?
Well, I may lay it on my deck, but I'm never putting it away.
Okay.
I may just pick up a different bait. I may pick up a buzz bait. I may pick up some type of swim bait, some type of subsurface swim bait, something that I can still fish fast, cover water with. But I'm going to go back to the plopper at some point. The plopper gets the right size bites, but the plopper's not as strong as it was when it came out. It's just like every bait, right? Like when they first come out and the fish hadn't seen it, it's spectacular. Mm-hmm. But they have had a bazillion ploppers run over their head now, and so they're not as gun-ho to run 20 feet away to kill it.
So what would be the deciding factor on a big plopper or a small plopper?
Big plopper pulls, ploppers, period, pull further, meaning I feel like it pulls fish from further away than other topwater baits will. Mm-hmm. Big plopper to little plopper, it's going to depend on bait size, fish size, lake size, water clarity, all those things are going to come into play. There's definitely times that smaller plopper gets bites when the big one you can't get a sniff on. Boat pressure can have an effect on that, once they've been gone over 100 times, like where we're about to go to for this Coastal Championship. The plopper's going to play there.
Do you start big?
Yeah, you definitely start big.
Okay.
You definitely start big and try to finish big. That's the thing. Like, if everybody downsizes, you go back big, that Lake Cumberland that we're going to for the Coastal Championship, I think we start practice there Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of topwater is going to be thrown on that place, and by the end of that week, those fish have seen a lot of baits and a lot of topwaters, and so therefore it might be a situation where the smaller plopper does work better and the big plopper work during practice, and the smallmouth are involved there too. And from what my experience is, sometimes with them, the bigger the better.
Yeah. All right. What's your stance on topwaters in dirty water?
Topwaters in dirty water
in the fall.
Yeah. Buzz baits, ploppers. I generally go to black. That's when I throw a lot of black. You know, we throw a lot of black buzz baits in Oklahoma instead of whites. And whites and chartreuses. I like the blacks. I like the solid colors. Even black bladed buzz baits. And I tend to get away from the walking, the spooks and things like that, shower blows and all the other stuff that we're throwing right now. I feel like that in the dirtier water, generally, it's not as strong as it tends to be in the clearer water. Those types of baits.
All right. Frank in Michigan says, don't fish brush piles much in Michigan, but the winter on Grand Lake said he put out fresh green brush piles and it helped him win. Is that like compared looking for a grass line that is very, very green or the greenest grass line on the lake? And does that come into play during the fall in lakes in Oklahoma?
Yeah. Obviously, I consider that tournament that Pilcher won in the fall, right?
Yeah.
I said Pilcher won. Kurt Warren won. Pilcher. Sorry, I get them confused because they team fish so much together. Warren was talking about his green brush piles. There's definitely some benefits to green in the fall and even in the summer. But I've seen times when they're not in the green too. I would say that primarily in the fall, you know, as we get later, the brush pile fishing starts to slow down. You know, it's not as effective. I mean, it's not even as effective in September as it was in June and August, or July and August. Fish slowly start to migrate and leave. You don't have as many fish in those brush piles, but a lot of times it still has the quality, and there are certain piles that still have a nice 4 or 5 pounder sitting in them.
Yeah. Okay, Dave wants to know favorite fall topwaters for you, and what are the key water temps?
Favorite fall topwaters for me, number one, I'm a buzzbait guy, 110%. I'm going to throw it till the cows come home. I prefer it over the plopper. Like I say, I do think the plopper draws further. What was the second part of that question? Favorite topwater and what?
Key water temps. In the fall.
I mean, anything over 50, I'm throwing topwater. So I don't know that. I mean, it's not like I'm sitting there watching my thermometer in the fall.
Do you still throw it when it's in the 40s?
I'll throw it down to 48, 45. Yeah.
Because I recall when Morton won that BASS event on Grand Lake in the snow, the water temps were in the 40s.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I remember, somebody who's an absolute stick in Oklahoma, Sean Goodwin, came in second on Lake of the Ozarks in December, and they had 2 inches of ice on the deck of their boat when they were throwing that buzzbait, and the water temp was in the 40s.
Right.
So here in this section of the country, I mean, you could throw it for a long time. Well, you know.
So here's the thing. I mean, to me, this is top water fishing. Period. I mean, these are things that you have to have, and I don't care if it's fall, spring, summer, or winter. I mean, and the water temperatures, whatever, it doesn't matter. In muddy water, that fish has to be at least a foot to that bait. Meaning, whatever it's sitting in, the water above his head needs to be really close to that bait.
Yeah.
If fish are sitting in places that it's really shallow, or they're sitting up on top of something that puts them very close to the surface of the water, dude, they're going to crush it. I don't care if it's 36-degree water. Yeah. They're going to hit it if it's right above his head. You know?
Yeah.
Now, generally in 36-degree water, they're not sitting up there on that flat this deep, and that's why you don't get that bite. Now, clear water is a different story, and a lot of things change when you get to the clearer the water gets, the further you can draw them from, you know? And so, therefore, you can draw fish from 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 feet, 15 feet in some places. I've caught fish that I know that I drew in 20.
Wow.
But the water is extremely clear.
Right.
Smallmouth, extremely aggressive. I had slick conditions. Spook overhead, and they knew it was there. Now, if the wind blows, they lose contact with it. They can't even tell it's there. But that day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, sun straight overhead, 3-pound smallies, killing it, coming off points 20 foot deep.
All right. Matt wants to know, what is your rod reel line setup for the plopper?
I have the same one that a lot of guys do. It's 65-pound braided line. I'm throwing 65-pound Sunline FX2, and I've got it on an 8-to-1 gear ratio reel. I've got it on 8-foot rod. It's long cast, as fast as much ground as I can cover with that thing. That's the benefit to the plopper.
Yeah,
is that you can cover a lot of water with it.
All right. Let's see here. Josh wants to know, when and where do you, in the fall, like throwing a jig?
So any of the Ozark lakes, anything up around Grand, and then I've also seen it work. I've used it. I made the All-American one year with that thing in my hand years ago on Old Hickory. That year I caught them back in the creeks with an LBJ. And the Ozarks, it tends to be more pocket related, dock related, back behind docks, a lot like they position in the spring. Those same big females will move back to the back sides of those docks and get ultra shallow, and getting some, places that are hard to get them out of once you get them hooked up. But any type of rock lake, I mean, if we have a rock hole that doesn't have grass, the LBJ has the possibility of playing in the fall for sure. I mean, because crawfish ends up being a big forage.
Yeah. I'm trying to find a picture of an LBJ that I can put on the Insta. Yeah. Let's see here. Jim in Indiana wanted to know, where can I see an LBJ?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a picture and put a link up there.
My team partner and I really got serious about throwing those. I'm talking 20 years ago. And we coined it LBJ early on because it had Larry was his name, and it was Larry and Brad. But then it just turned to Little Brown, and then it just became LBJ all the time. But man, like a lot of people call it LBJ now. It's amazing.
Yeah. Let's see here. Like I said, I'm trying to find that link there. All right, Dave wants to know, what line do you throw on your buzzbait?
Line on a buzzbait, generally speaking, for the most part, I'm usually throwing 50-pound Sunline FX2.
Why not mono?
Because it's a single hook. I like the hook up. So like with spooks, I'm all out. I'm 100% mono.
Okay.
But with buzzbaits, I like a lighter action rod. So I'm not using a broomstick on this thing. I mean, it's a medium action. It's got some flex to it. It's a feel that I like, and you're not breaking them off. You get a good hook set on a long cast. I guess that's why I like the braid. I like the feel of it. It seems like, you get a nice solid hook set in a fish with braid on buzzbait.
All right, let's see. I'm going to throw a link out there. I don't know if it's going to work or not. See if that link works to pull up an LBJ, Jim. That might work to where you might be able to get a view at it. And there's 1,000 of them out there too.
And mine's handmade. I mean, it's one of my baits.
Yeah.
I'll bring it in one day and show it to you guys. It's just a brown, and it's got the flat square rubber that everybody talks and kills and tries to murder their somebody for. But it's just brown rubber jig is all it is on a brown ball head that, I mean, it's an Aikens jig is what it is, Yeah. I mean, it's Aikens is close enough. The Jewel makes they used to make one years ago that was a brown hand tie, and they sold them in packages, and that's where it all started.
Yeah. I mean, did Jim Aikens, was he the originator to your knowledge?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the originator of that jig.
There were so many tournaments won in the vintage era of the Central Pro-Ams with
all those guys,
all the Aikens boys and Jim and everybody else from the Ozarks. Just absolutely crushed them on the LBJ.
So you want to hear a good story about this?
Yeah.
Okay, we love stories. You were actually involved in this story. This was many years ago also. I called you, and you were staying with Wes Endicott, and you were fishing Central Pro-Ams.
Yeah.
It's been a while, right?
It's been a while.
Okay. And I was around here in Oklahoma beating around and fishing stuff, and the Central Pro-Ams had tournaments in the wintertime.
Yeah.
And they had one in December on Table Rock. And I called you, and I called Wes, and I said, hey, you guys mind if I come up and stay with y'all? And you were like, yeah, come on, come fish with us.
Yeah.
And then I get up there, I swear, do you remember this? You said, where's your boat? I drove up there in a truck, and all I have is my truck. And I said, I'm fishing as a co-angler. And you were like, you're doing
Oh, that's
what?
right. That's right. I do remember that.
I said, yeah, man, I'm fishing as a co-angler. And you were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, look, man, look at the names that are in this thing. It was a $50 entry fee, guys, and they were 2-day derbies. And over half that field were Lake of the Ozarks studs at the time. I mean, that's what it was. And so my goal was, it was in December. It was in the winter. I wasn't doing anything, and I had been booked up all year fishing.
Yeah.
It was easy to go up there. I got to hang out with you and Wes Endicott.
Yeah.
We had a good time. And my hope was that for $50, one of the 2 days I would get a draw, a really good draw.
So who did you draw?
And learn. I wasn't there to catch fish.
I don't remember who you drew.
So we go to the meeting. You remember they always had it at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. We come out. West Endicott says, "Who'd you get?" And I said, "I drew Jim Akins." And he was like, "Good God." So I draw Jim, and it was, I'm excited. I've got him. I'm going to learn a lot tomorrow, and as a co-angler, and I have never talked to the man since this day. But I've always wondered what he thought, because the morning that he picked me up, he wanted to pick me up off the dock. Now imagine this: you go to pick your co-angler up off the dock where you met, and he's standing there on the dock. He's got one thing in his hand: a rod. One rod. I had one rod. I had no tackle. I had no tackle bag. I had nothing. You
were a dream draw, man.
I had one rod and reel. That's all I had. And he said, "Where's your tackle?" And I said, "I don't have any." I said, "I got a couple of jigs in my pocket." And I said, "I'm ready to go fishing." I knew he was going to throw a jig all day, and I was going to learn, and I did. I don't know if he led that day, but he was not further than second. He had 21 pounds of smallmouth that day. Yeah. All on the LBJ. I got a great lesson that day, and I learned lots of things. And fast forward basically 12, 18 months from then, it had a BASS Open. It was one of the first ones that I'd fished. I believe it was the second event I'd ever fished. And I was leading after 2 days on Norfolk with the lessons that I had learned.
With the LBJ.
Absolutely.
This is interesting. Frank in Michigan wants to know, is there a second color that you like to use with the LBJ besides brown?
Black and blue.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes the water gets too much for it, and I do prefer a black and blue. I can tell you that my team partner Larry Ray is hung up on the I forget what it's even called, the brown, and it's got the purple flash in it. Peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. PB&J.
And he swears that it's different, but dude, if he can catch them on that, I can catch them on the brown one. It doesn't matter.
Do you think there's characteristics on certain lakes that a specific color is vital to the success? I've heard stories that at Lake Texoma here in Oklahoma, you have to throw something with blue in it.
Yeah.
Blue is a dominant color at Texoma. Is that a fallacy or is that true, Bradley? What are your thoughts?
I think that I'm not a big color guy, and I don't believe in all the color fallacies. But I do believe that there are times that it's probably cost me because I'm not paying enough attention to detail on colors. Because, dude, I am telling you, I'm the world's worst. Edwin and I, this has been many years ago, we were at Gunnersville, and I was helping Edwin, and I got into the boat ramp at the same time. And, dude, I am telling you, he had 200 rattle traps dumped in the bottom of his boat. It looked like I had taken your tackle box, my tackle box, and all those baits up there on the wall and dumped them in the bottom of his boat. And I was like, it was such a mess, and I was loading his boat on his trailer for him, and I was like, well, did you dump your tackle box? And he's like, no, man, I've been trying to find the right color and the right vibration they wanted to eat. Now, the vibration deal, I get. But the color, I could care less. Like, I'm giving them 2 to 3 options, and after that, they're going to starve to death, or But I do believe in vibration, different sounds, different weights, different fall rates. Guys are going to change colors and this and that. To me, there's a bigger difference between a 5/16 and a 7/16 makes a lot bigger difference. Whether the blue is a certain tone, or it's bright, or it's dark, or that's how I've always felt. Fall rates and things like that are much more important than color.
Fire tiger. That seems to be a color that is dominant on certain lakes.
Yeah, and it seems to be early in the year, generally speaking. I mean, bright colors and really loud things seem to be when the water's cold. Fish are feeding off their lateral lines more. It's their eyesight may not. I've wondered if their eyesight's as good when the water's cold, honestly. I know that they're using their lateral lines more to feed when the water's cold. Because, if you really look at some of the things we throw in cold water, other than a jerkbait, really loud, really big, big spinner baits, big Colorado blades, a lot of vibration, and loud colors.
Do you like throwing a jerkbait?
I do.
Really? Do you throw it in the fall?
I do not. I'm one of the guys, and I'm guilty of this. Now, got to look at where I live, guys, because I say that, and if I go up north, and I'm throwing a jerkbait up there also, and it's more year round. But around here, once they go to the bed, I'm done with it. Now, I know it'll catch it in the fall, but I'm not going to throw it. I'll throw a spinnerbait. I need something to cover more water in the fall.
Yeah.
In the spring, I get to jerking them, and you hit one, you can sit right there and jerk 20 pounds and never move the boat.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the fall, you're going to catch one, and then you're going to go 3 miles before you catch another. I can't go that slow.
No, that's a good point. Good point. All right, Josh wants to know, do you ever throw a popper in the fall?
Yeah. No, definitely.
Like a Pop R?
No, the Pop R's are massive at Grand. I mean, it's one of the big deals up there. One of my best friends, I swear, that's all he throws is a Pop R. He doesn't throw anything else. I'm talking year round. And does well in tournaments.
Who is that?
Craig.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Dwayne in Oklahoma wants to know, when the shad are thick and they're flipping around on the surface everywhere, what are your favorite baits to get their attention on bright, sunny days?
Say that question again. I'm sorry.
When the shad are thick and they're flipping on the surface everywhere, what's your favorite baits to get their attention on a bright, sunny day? In other words, the bait's concentrated in one area.
Yeah.
You have, a high level of confidence that there's bass in there.
Yeah.
But you can't get them to do anything because they're feeding on the bait.
Yeah, I'm thinking of different situations where I've had that. I mean, I've seen that situation sitting out on the river channel over 40 foot of water, and I've seen that situation, back in the flat. So a lot of that's going to depend on how deep it is and the water clarity and things. But I'm going to start with a spook probably. A one knocker of some kind.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the one knocker. I've been throwing it for years and caught a lot of fish on it. I feel like it's got a good drawing power to it. The Vixen is obviously one that everybody talks about a lot, and it's got a good noise, and I like throwing it also. Buzz bait, but it's not always going to be that way. Sometimes I might be out in the river channel and see the bait, but you can also see it on the graph on the live scope, and that they're down there on that ledge. I mean, it's going to be a 10XD.
Yeah. Yeah. How about a rattle trap in the fall?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people do the same thing, like what they do with jerk baits. They put those away and they don't throw them in the fall.
Yeah. Rattle trap for sure. So like a lot of the same places that you would whopper plop or buzz bait or topwater fast on flats and you get no bites, a lot of times you can pick up a rattle trap and there's fish there. They're just not going to hit the top.
You can cover a ton of water with a rattle trap.
You get a lot of reaction bites out of it.
Yeah. All right. Scott in Indiana wants to know, what water temps does a blade come into play?
For me, honestly, water temp has no contradiction on a blade. For me, it's more about watercolor because I'm a spinnerbait guy. I'm going to throw one. So if I've got some color in the water where there's particles per billion of dirt in there that I can disguise a spinnerbait, I'm throwing it from coldest to the hottest.
All right. Is there anything, not to give up the juice, but Josh wants to know, is there anything that you use in the fall that other people would be like, oh, that's kind of weird that he does that? Not many other people use.
I've got some swim baits that I will not name publicly.
Yeah.
That I throw in the fall that people would be like, what? Yeah.
Not in dirty water though, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. Fair enough. Do you mind talking about your reels?
No.
Dave wants to know.
No, I don't mind talking about my reels.
Where do you get them at, and what are they?
So they're. I have no reel sponsor, and when I say reel sponsor, I don't mean REAL. I mean REEL.
Right.
No reel sponsor, and a friend of mine in Tennessee brought me a reel and a brand new in a box to a tournament, and he threw it in my boat. And he said, "Here, I want you to try these." And I was like, "All right." So I pulled it out and I looked at the side of it. It has Chinese writing on the side of it. It has no brand. It was kind of funny looking. Anyway, I put some string on it and I throw it in practice and throw it in the tournament. He calls me after tournament and said, "What do you think of that reel?" And I said, "It's pretty good." He said, "Dude, those things are $19.95. I'm like, "Dude, what?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "We can get them 7-to-1, 8-to-1, 6-to-1, and they're $19.95.
Wow.
So they come from the slow boat in China off of eBay, and yeah. I'm pushing Chinese reels, I guess. So, yeah, they're Chinese made. They have Chinese print on them. People ask me what brand they are. I actually won Lanier with them in my hand.
Yeah.
And
they don't have a logo or anything on them, do they?
They have Chinese print. I mean, when I say China, they're block letters. I don't know what it says. People want to know what the brand is, and I just show them, so I don't know what is that. But
what, Chinese letters? Is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah. It's just Chinese. It's something from their alphabet.
No logo, though.
There are no logos.
Yeah.
No. But they work. But what I will tell you is that they work. They're not a $300 reel. They're not going to last you 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
But
disposable.
Yeah, I'll spend like $600 or $700. Get all new reels, about every 2 years, and it comes in a crate. $700 goes a long ways on these reels.
Oh yeah,
they're not $19.95 anymore either. They've gone up, but they have some $25 and $29 ones and $39 ones. But still, I mean, my line costs more than that reel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The line on the reel
Yeah.
costs more than the reel does.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, like if it craps out, dude, I don't have a big problem with throwing it in the trash and go get a new one out of the box. And another thing I've noticed what's so great about these, I'll carry them in my truck. So like you run into somebody that you really like and you want to do something nice for them, hand them a reel. I mean, who hands you a brand new reel?
Yeah.
You know? And they're nice. I like them.
And you're not repping them.
No, I'm not
Yeah,
repping them.
yeah. Disposable reels.
Disposable reels.
That's crazy. All right, Scott in Virginia wants to know, what trailer do you use on your LBJ?
Trailer on LBJ is 99% usually a Zoom speed crawl. Now, the color will change, and so that's the one thing I do with LBJ too. Instead of changing the jig, I just change the trailer as far as the color, and I may throw green pumpkin most of the time, but that green pumpkin could go to black and blue, could go to, even on a brown jig.
Yeah.
I'll change that trailer color instead of changing the jig.
All right, Matt in Missouri wants to know, do you ever throw wiggle warts in the fall instead of the spring?
Yeah, so the wart is definitely a bait that we're fixing to take to Cumberland, no doubt. It plays there. I will tell you that the wart is it's location. It takes the right type of impoundment. It takes a right rock hole. I wouldn't go to TVA and throw it. I can tell you that. Not in the fall, no way.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely certain lakes. Cumberland is one of them. The one that we're going to.
Yeah. Andy in Indiana wants to know, what smallmouth that we have in the South, have you ever seen where they school up like they do up north? Obviously on the big Great Lakes and some of the larger lakes up north, they get in big giant schools. You ever seen that happen down south anywhere?
Yeah, Texoma, but the schools will be different. They're more like wolf packs. And I wouldn't say that they're big giant schools. They're more smaller wolf packs, 2 or 3 fish, but they will gather together. But the problem we have is we catch one, usually the other 2 follow it to the boat, and then you lose them.
Yeah.
But places like Washita Point, you got this great big giant flat point out this divides Lake Texoma.
Yeah.
They're schooled across it, so there's a group of of fish that live there, but they're not like up north. No, it's not one cast over and over and over. Where they're all running together, or they're all chasing bait together like they do at Lake Oneida or somewhere like that.
So how do you feel about next week, man?
I feel good about it. I mean, I'm excited to go. I'm a little bit like Matt. We're all a little bit let down because now there's no cup to be qualifying for, and really that was when we all signed up for the Coastas this year. I know not everybody's that way, but a lot of us are looking at it that way. It's a backdoor into the cup, and if you can accomplish that in the fall, then, that's great things going into the next year. You've already got the cup qualification and,
Yeah.
But with that being said, it's still, it's going to be a good payout, and it's still a championship and something that I've qualified for, and I want to go do it. I've been to Cumberland twice. We were there twice for the FLW Tour event. It tends to be a smallmouth dominated lake. The first year we went, they have this weird deal there. They have 18 inches on smallmouth. They have to be 18 inches to keep.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the first year we were there, there was 18 inches, and everybody talked about the 17 3/4 that they caught and blah, blah, blah. Well, Kentucky's doing something where they're experimenting with that 18-inch limit, and I guess the people at FLW being stationed in Kentucky know enough of the wildlife department people that they got it changed for the second time we were there for the tour event, and then they became, let me get this right, I don't want to lie to anybody, but I think 15. I think it was 15 to largemouth, or 15, I think. It could be 14 and 14, but I think it's 15 and 15.
Okay.
Anyway, so they actually lowered the smallmouth just for our tournament, so because they knew we were catching release, right?
Right.
And so the FLW Tour event went off like that, and then Brian Thrift won it, right? I mean, everything he caught was smallmouth. He completely focused on smallmouth. And the first time we were there, it was not that way. But I also noticed going here for this Costa, same thing. They've lowered that smallmouth limit. So there's a lot more smallmouth in that lake than there are largemouth. So I think that that will primarily be what you see guys focusing and concentrating on. But there's still some really nice largemouth in that lake. It's a good lake. It really is. I mean, it's surprisingly good. I know that historically it wasn't, and it wasn't great years ago, but it got really low. I don't know if they were doing work on the dam or what, but I mean, they brought it down like 20 or 30 feet, and it stayed there for years while they did this construction. And then all that undergrowth grew. And then they flooded it and brought it back up, and then it had all that growth down there and gave everybody some really good places to live. A lot like we see in some of our desert lakes that happen in Amistad or Falcon, Lake Mead.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. JD in Illinois wants to know, with everything going on, are you still planning on maybe fishing some team tournaments next year here in Oklahoma?
Man, I haven't had time for that in a long time. I can tell you that it's something that I really, really, really enjoy. You know, I think we all do. But and Oklahoma's a great place to do it because the money's so good. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
What do you look for in a team partner? What's the best thing to look for? Compatibility?
Larry Ray is the best thing to look for. Once I get past Larry Ray, it's usually guys that I've known or had relationships with for a long time.
When somebody is looking to fish a team tournament, should they have the same characteristics, the same style, or should it be different where the guy in the back fishes deep and the guy up front fishes shallow? What's a better mix? What have you found over your years?
I would say first, like if guys are like, team fishing and that's what they're into and that's what they're doing, which most guys are, and especially if you're young, I would say that a good combination of team stuff doesn't necessarily have to be the same age, doesn't have to be, those aren't things that are critical. Things that are critical, the number one thing that's the most important is that you both get along really well and you both can accept each other's good parts and bad parts because they both come out in the boat. You know what I mean?
Almost like a marriage.
It is like a marriage, and you have to be able to accept both.
Yeah.
I personally enjoy having a guy that's competent enough to say, Hallman, pull that damn trolling motor up and set your ass down. We haven't had a bite in an hour, and I'm going somewhere else. I like having that partner.
Yeah.
As opposed to the guy that just like, we'll just let Hallman do whatever he wants. I like a guy that's strong enough to say, hey,
this isn't working.
This sucks, dude. Let me show you where one lives. Yeah. And you pull up there, and he jumps up on the front deck, makes a cast, and says, get the net. I like that guy a lot.
All right.
There's qualities for everybody, are different. I would say that probably fishing the same strengths are probably what I have noticed through the years. When I'm thinking of some of the best team guys that I've fished against, they generally have a lot of the same strengths. But with that being said, there's still some of them I can think of that are, I can't think of any that are just total opposite. Like one guy just wants to stay out and one guy just wants to be on the bank.
Ed Barton and Ty Smith.
Yeah.
All right. They won a ton in Oklahoma back in the day, but think about it. Ed wants to fish shallow. Ty, his expertise and what he really does well is throwing a deep diving crankbait in the Carolina rig.
Right.
That's an example of two guys that are total opposite. That doesn't mean
Ty's still extremely strong on the bank.
That's what I'm saying. But his strength is fishing deep.
Yeah.
And how many tournaments did they win back in the 90s and 2000s when they were fishing shallow?
Yeah.
But that's one of the examples that I can see.
I was thinking of like Warren and Pilcher, obviously they're offshore guys. Alan Head and Gary Carrier, offshore guys.
Yeah.
That offshore game takes almost two of you to believe in it enough to stay out there and go through the bad times. Right?
Yeah.
Because there are some lulls.
Yeah.
And there's lulls on the bank. I mean, it's not like it's any different, but a lot of guys that are bank beaters want to run to the bank whenever it's like, we're not sitting out here any longer. You know what I mean?
That's good, man. I don't think we've ever talked about that on the show, but that is a very important factor, obviously, if you're fishing team tournaments. That first time that you select your partner and you ask somebody, hey, man, you want to fish team tournaments? Evaluating what the strengths and weaknesses and are you going to get along with this person?
There's a lot of things that are more important to fishing. I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Like, is he going to be where he says he's going to be? I don't like the guy that when we make the plan, that's the plan. I don't care that we made it in January. That's the plan.
Yeah.
And so, the guy that's going to be there, a guy that's going to be on time, a guy that pays his half, a guy that puts in his half of the work. You can't be the one that's taking off 2 days a week and practicing Thursday and Friday, and then that guy just comes down and jumps in the boat with you on Saturday because he worked all week. That's not a fair shake. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not. And I see guys do it all the time.
Yeah.
And so those things over time eat at each other to where it doesn't make the team the best team that it could possibly be. So, being able to get along and having a lot of the same values and working and putting in the same effort is more important.
All right, a couple more questions, and then we're going to wrap things up. One might get you in trouble, but I'll ask this one first. Josh wants to know, what's your favorite smallmouth fishery in the South? Do you have one?
That's what I was just sitting there thinking. I mean, I can think of them my favorite smallmouth fishery in Oklahoma, but in the South.
You know, some of the Tennessee.
I know, but I never have wrecked just smallmouth on them. I mean, I know which ones are the ones, but like Pickwick and whatnot. But every time I go there, I end up catching largemouth, so I don't really have one.
All right. This next one is from Jeff in Texas, who used to live in California. He said, be honest. He said, who's better, Littner or the man that just got it done in the U.S. Open?
Littner or Salvucci?
Yeah.
You know, Littner's been doing it a long time. I'm going to give Littner the nod on it just because I know how many years and experience he's got at tour at all levels. And Salvucci's newer to the pro-ams, but there's no doubt that guy's brain is rolling in the right direction.
Yeah.
What he did was just incredible. I was thinking about him again this morning. Incredible what he has done on that lake. Yeah. I mean, it's becoming it's stupid for him to done second, first, two firsts, a second, a fifth.
In 3 years.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. All right, last question, and then we'll wrap things up. Jerry in Pennsylvania, do you like going to lakes that you've never been on before, and what's the best way to break down a new lake?
Absolutely. It's my favorite thing to do at this point in my career in life, yeah. Because we have no memories, we have no history, and everything's new and fresh, and everything seems to be a positive possibility. And I would say that a lot of fishermen like myself feel the same way.
Yeah.
So what I mean by that is like everything's possible. There's no closed doors. Like they don't live on points here. They don't, anything is possible with new waters, and it's one of my favorite things to do.
Very cool. All right, a lot of people on today, and I really, really appreciate you talking a little fishing for a change.
Yeah,
so, we like
fishing on the show.
Yeah, we like doing these type of shows every now and then. There's been so much going on in the world of professional fishing. It's nice to just kind of break down my favorite time of the year when it comes to fishing. And can't wait, man. I think I mentioned on Monday's show when we were talking to Matt, I'm getting all my stuff together because here very shortly, you see what's coming in on Thursday, tomorrow, here in Oklahoma.
Yep.
Really cold.
Yeah, really cold.
And once those water temps get down in the 50s, that's when it really starts to turn on, at least for what I do and what I like to do here in Oklahoma. So I'm really looking forward to getting in some fall fishing. And I know a lot of people out there appreciate your insight and your knowledge on some of the stuff that we talked about today, Bradley. So good stuff, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me on here. I enjoy it more and more. The more we do it, the more I like it.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Yeah. Real quick, the next one-on-one, we're actually working on it. We will probably not have another one-on-one live. It's just scheduling, weather, all kinds of other things until February or March of next year. We're going to roll everything over into next year. So there will not be another one-on-one this year just because there's so much going on with the guy's schedule, and we just were not able to work some of the things out. But we are going to continue doing that in February or March.
I think we should have a Mark and Matt one-on-one on T-Bird.
I'd get destroyed
in the fall. I think it'd be great for the winter. I'll give you some pointers.
I might do that in the fall. I think I might have a chance.
We have nothing else going. We might as well put you and Matt out there on T-Bird. It would be great. One-on-one. You and Panger. I could sit in studio, cover it all from here.
Yeah, that would be
set
pretty
you guys
funny.
up.
Who do you think? I bet out of 100 people, 99 of them would put money on Matt. Maybe that one soul out there would put $10 on me, and that's it.
I have faith in you, Bubba. I have faith in you.
People don't think that I can catch fish. You saw me, man.
Yeah.
I was close. I almost won a Central Pro-Am one time.
Yeah. You were up there fishing as a pro, and I was a co-angler.
I know. That was a long time ago, back in the 90s. Anyway, good stuff. Bradley, can't thank you enough.
You bet.
All right, folks, make sure you do those reviews on iTunes if you're listening to us on the podcast. I have all the records of the instant feedback, and we're going to give away 5 $100 gift certificates to Academy. So everybody, greatly, greatly appreciate the fans, the response, and all the feedback from the show. Next week, Randy Blaukat on Monday. Tuesday is going to be the Sunline Hotline show, and then Wednesday I will work on a guest. Hopefully I'm going to try and get Judici in here.
It'd be nice. I haven't seen you to see in a while.
Yeah. Somebody that's been in the business over 40 years.
Absolutely.
To talk about some of the stuff that's taken place in this game. So everybody have a safe remainder of the week. Bradley, good luck to you next week at Cumberland.
Appreciate it.
We will talk to you on Monday with Randy Blaukat. We're out of here.